Hi there, Andrew here on the way, and just here to talk to you this week about 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. But before we start, I just want you to think about any time that you've had to encourage someone, right? What kind of things do you say to get someone through a really difficult situation? So we might say things like, I'm with you, I'm on your side, let me help. That would give someone some encouragement because they know that you're with them and they're not fighting it alone. You might say, go on, you can do it. Just keep going. You can do it. I believe in you. That'll give someone a kind of personal boost because they might need to know that they've got your support. You might say, like Tom Hanks said, this too shall pass. You might say, this too shall pass. This time is really rough, and I understand that, but don't worry, it will be gone soon, and we'll hopefully be in a better place, right? We can do loads of things to encourage other people, can't we? And I'm sure you encourage your friends and encourage your family members because I don't know if you noticed, but we're in quite a difficult time at the moment. It's really tricky for so many families, so many people just really struggling with the lockdown and with not being able to see family and all sorts of different things going on. So people need lots of encouragement, and this is where 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 comes in handy, because right at the end of 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, Paul says to the people in Thessalonica, use these words to encourage each other. Encourage each other with these words, right? So Paul thinks that the stuff that he's saying is going to encourage them, right? So what is he actually saying that is going to be useful for them to kind of help them pull themselves through this really difficult time? Let's have a look. So Paul describes in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 that he says, this too shall pass, and something is going to happen that is going to come afterwards, right? So he says all this weird stuff about God coming out of heaven with a trumpet sound, and dead people are going to be raised up to life just like Jesus was, and people are going to float off into the sky and meet Jesus in the sky, and then we're going to be with God forever. It's a really, really weird passage. It's not every day people start floating off into the sky to meet with God in the sky. That is, I think I'd put that in my diary as a notable thing that happened that day. So it's full of really, really weird stuff. But why does this encourage people? Saying that stuff is going to be weird, there's going to be some odd stuff that happens. What is it that is going to encourage them about this passage? And I think there's a couple of things that are really going to encourage people. All right. So let's go two things that are going to encourage people from this passage. Right. So he says right at the beginning of chapter 4 that he doesn't want you to mourn for people that have died like people who have no hope. Okay? Because he says that just as Jesus died and came back to life again, is that God is going to raise us back to life again as well. Okay? To live with God forever. So the first thing to remember, that even if things get really, really rough, even if people start dying, death is not the end. Okay, and that's why we don't have to mourn like people who have no hope. Yes, it's really sad that we are separated from loved ones that we know, people that have died. Death is wrong. Death does not belong, and that is the sad thing: is that there is something in this world called death which does not belong here. It does not belong here. It is not normal, and it's why we feel sad. It's because we were not designed to die. We were designed to live forever. But sin came into the world and death came into the world, and that makes us sad. But we don't mourn like people who have no hope, because people who have no hope think that death is the end. So when they're separated from their friends friends or family because of death, that's it. That's over. That's the last they're going to see of them. But that is not true for Christians, because we know what is going to happen. We know that God is going to raise back to life people at the end of time, and we are going to meet together again. We're going to be gathered together with God, and we're going to live with God forever. Death is not the end, number one. That is encouraging. This world sucks and death is terrible, but death is not the most powerful thing in this universe. God is. And God says that death is not the end. That is encouraging. All right. And the second thing is that Jesus, the good King, is coming back. This passage tells us that God is coming back to earth to rule it forever. And what does God do? God fixes broken things. God always fixes broken things. He's desperate to fix broken things. So when God looks at the world and he sees earthquakes, poverty, famine, death, illness, sadness, all of that stuff, God is going to drive out of this world when he comes back. Jesus is a good king, and he is coming back to rule this world with justice, with peace, with goodness. And we know that is going to happen. So all of this stuff is not just, oh, I really hope that something's going to happen and things are going to get better. This too shall pass is okay because we know that time moves on, and hopefully the thing that comes next will be better than the one before. However, we know that 2019 was not a great year, but 2020 was worse. So this too shall pass is encouraging, but it's not a promise, is it? It's a fingers crossed that the thing that comes next will be better. But what this passage does is it says that no matter what happens, no matter how bad things get, even if 2021 is worse than 2020, I really hope it's not, but even if it is, we know that after that, Jesus is coming back. Jesus, the good King, is coming back, and he will fix everything. And he will rule his people with goodness, and he will fix the world, and everything will be okay when Jesus returns. That is why this is the best encouraging passage that you could go to, because it promises you that what is coming will be better than what is now. So, if you need a one sentence thing to encourage someone to press on, to keep going, to not give up, then tell them this too shall pass and Jesus is coming back. This too shall pass and Jesus is coming back. Not only does that tell us that the time that we're in sucks and we will leave it behind, but it also points us to what we know is going to come later.